Realtist Real Talk Podcast. Hello, fellow Realtists. Welcome to the Realtist Real Talk Podcast. I am Amber Lewis.
And I'm Rob Pastor.
And today we have the pleasure of having here Bishop Craig Worsham. He is the National Director for Faith-Based and Community Partnerships. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here today.
Yes, sir. So tell us how we're ending our midwinter.
Yes.
How's your midwinter been?
This has been a wonderful experience.
Oh,
it is always good to see the members of the premier network of Black real estate professionals growing and building together to serve the people of our various communities. So it's been great.
Absolutely.
What was one of your favorite parts of the conference?
You know, I think for me, being a pastor, I think the prayer breakfast is a wonderful highlight for me because as the members of our association come together for these last several days to receive the important tools that they need to further their work with their businesses and in their community, a lot of times we get so caught up in helping people, we don't have a time to reset and refresh and have someone pour back into our spiritual being. So to see our members come together and be replenished spiritually was an important highlight for me yesterday.
Absolutely. Beautiful thing. It's necessary.
Absolutely.
You know, because we work so hard, and especially as realtists, we serve our communities, and like you said, we continue to pour into other people. So to have that time of mindfulness, and then to do it in fellowship with our members, which is like family as well.
Absolutely.
You know, I can see why, you know, was one of your favorite parts of the
Absolutely.
conference.
Every vessel that pours out needs to be poured back into.
100%. So you're doing a lot of pouring yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Not what you do in California, but for NAREB National, you've been connecting a lot of dots, putting some things into play.
Absolutely. To think about how far this particular initiative has come. You know, a lot of times people ask me, how in the world did you get involved with real estate, folks? And you're a pastor. But you know, many years ago, under the leadership of President Ron Cooper,
Yes.
I attended a NAREB meeting actually as a guest speaker for the prayer breakfast.
Wow.
And somehow ended up many years later still here in this capacity. But when I think about where we started at the time of doing the community days across the country, there was a particular community day in Las Vegas at a church. And it wasn't well attended. We had a lot of our members there, a lot of partners were there, but we didn't see many people from that church and from that community. And the next day, Ray Carlisle and myself went back to that church to have a conversation with the pastor to say, hey, you know, we were at your church. We had these resources to help members become homeowners, etc. But your people weren't here.
Yeah.
And the pastor said, well, I had no idea what you all were doing or the importance of your association. And when we shared that with past President Ron Cooper, it was like a light had clicked. There's a missing element. How can we be in a church and the pastor not know about the services that NAREB has to offer, not just to the church, but just to the community? And it was in that moment we began to create a framework of what faith-based at that time
Yes.
was going to look like. And so about a month or two later, a core group of us gathered in New Orleans, Louisiana at the Lowe's Hotel. And we sat down and had a day of synergy with NAREB partners and some chapter presidents and NAREB leadership just to chart out a course to create some sense of direction and purpose for what our faith-based engagement was going to look like. And I'm telling you, from where we started in 2016
Yes.
till now in 2023,
Yes.
it has taken on a mind of its own, and it's been a great journey.
Absolutely. I mean, the impact that you're having, the relationships that have been opened up, and even just the training and the certification. I can't imagine NAREB without it. And to think it only started in 2016.
Yeah.
2016,
So
absolutely.
much momentum already.
Absolutely. We started off just working with churches. And when we were going across the country with community days, we said, hey, we don't need to go to a community center. We don't need to go to another venue. take the community days to where the people are.
Yes.
The people are in the church every Sunday. You can go to a mega church in any major city and see some 2,000, 3,000 African Americans coming through that congregation in one given Sunday.
Yes.
So we said, hey, let's try a different approach. So we started building relationships with pastors and denominational leaders and saying, hey, we're going to bring these services to you on the Sunday morning. Those pastors would have worship. They would dismiss church. And by the hundreds, those parishioners were coming to those community days on a Sunday afternoon to receive housing counseling through NID. Individuals that were already homeowners but say, hey, we want to expand our wealth portfolio. Do you have classes on investment and development? Every gamut of real estate we made available through those community days, and we took them across the country, and it spread like wildfire. And it has certainly helped to grow and expand our chapters as well.
Absolutely.
What do you feel like is one of the biggest successes that you've seen from 2016 that you would love to celebrate?
The ability for NAREB and faith institutions, civic organizations, historically black colleges and universities come together and coalesce our resources and efforts for one common goal, and that's to build black wealth through home ownership.
That's phenomenal.
It's powerful.
Absolutely.
So who are some of our biggest partners? Because we have MOUs, memorandums of understanding, for those that don't know. So who are some of our biggest partners?
We have MOUs with Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. We have an MOU with several historically black colleges and universities such as Texas Southern University, Prairie View A&M University, Virginia Union University. We have MOUs with several of our historic black denominations, the Church of God in Christ, the African Methodist Episcopal Church. We have MOUs with organizations such as Catholic Charities USA, the African American Mayors Association. We have MOUs with the Southern Christian Leadership Council, Rainbow Push, you name it. We are building a bridge between the Realtist community and our African American organizations in this country.
It's necessary. I mean, because when you talk about historic black organizations, NAREB is up there, and especially with the impact that we've had on housing in America. It's crazy to me that these organizations, a lot of them haven't heard of NAREB. And so what I've done is take what I've learned from the faith-based initiative and build relationships with my own city.
That's right.
And I think that's one of the power of NAREB is that we don't have to recreate the wheel.
We don't have to recreate the wheel. And many years ago, when NAREB came out with the 2 Them in 5 initiative, 2 million black homeowners in 5 years, we were faced with the stark reality that though we want to create home ownership for 2 million black people, there is not enough affordable housing inventory in America for 2 million black folks to buy a home. So in the process of building this relationship, we said, what institution is land rich, has underutilized land, underutilized real estate? And we said the black church. And as we traveled across this country and met with leaders, we met leaders that were sitting on 10 and 15 acres of land. Past one particular pastor that we've worked with for a number of years, 14 lots, but did not have the capital to build on those lots. Each of these pastors saying, we want to be a part of the solution in building not rental units, but single family housing that can be sold to members of our congregation that are first-time home buyers. So in this building of relationships, we have created a variety of clergy roundtables across the country where we put pastors and community leaders in a room with our NAREB partners. And we say, hey, here is a church that's land rich, but cash poor. Partners, you want business, you want buyers, you want homeowners. So let's find a way to create a level of partnership between church and lender to assist this church in receiving the capital they need to build on the land they already own so they can put their members into homes. And so we've been able to do that across the country. And one of the things for me personally is that there are resources in NAREB. There are connections in this association, not just from lenders, but I can sit at a table with you and there are some resources that you have that I need. And I would have never known about those resources or your expertise if I, as a pastor, were not at the table.
Right.
I knew nothing about NID. I knew nothing about REMB. I knew nothing about the work of the Women's Council as a pastor. So for me, it has been a one-stop shop. There is nothing in the field of real estate and home ownership and development as a pastor that I cannot come back to this association and tap into back in my local work at home.
That's phenomenal. So in closing, for our members that are at home, what could be an actionable step that they could take to continue to move the work that you and the team have been tirelessly doing over the past few years? I
would encourage all of our Realtist members to get involved in your local churches in the area of real estate. If you are a member of a house of worship, whatever denomination or faith practice that is, as a realtist, you should be the premier voice in that institution for Black real estate. Your leaders should be coming to you for real estate needs. In your city, we are equipping members in NAREB to serve on land bank commissions and municipal boards, particularly in cities where we have Black mayors. These are some of the things we have negotiated in our partnerships with the African American Mayors Association, that where there is a Black mayor, we want to see Black real estate professionals on the land bank commission. So we need you to get involved. We need you to also understand that as we build these relationships, this is the beautiful thing. When we build these relationships, leads are generated all over the country. The entire month of March, we're going to be all over the country working with Alpha Brothers, Church of God in Christ folks, everything. And lead opportunities are being generated in these meetings as we travel the country. So with you being involved in your local chapter, not only are you a part of creating new homeowners, but through these relationships, NAREB is creating business opportunities for you. And so you will only have access to those business opportunities by being involved in the work of your local chapter.
That's it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Get busy.
Yeah.
Get busy. So we appreciate the work
Yes,
that
we
you do.
do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
There's been a lot of progress, a lot of momentum, and I'm just excited to see how it continues to grow.
Yes.
And thank you for helping us get the word out.
That's the least I can do.
All right.
Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.